Okay, look, it's not that I'm angry that you did a review without me, I just wish you'd asked me first. Why? People like me. It's one of the major perks of being an alter ego. Ego is the right word, yes. Well, I think you're both as bad as each other. What sense does that make? Braggart is, well, braggart, and what is going on with your face? That is a woman's prerogative. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to do a nice, traditional, normal review. Oh, all right. Hey, howdy hey, and welcome back to Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Today's video is another request. From Mystery Kid this time, and it's the honest-to-goodness sequel to Critters, simply known as Critters 2. Not simply, it also has the subtitle The Main Course. Thank you for correcting me, Killjoy. Now then, about a year ago, when I reviewed the first film in this series, I struggled to find anything about the film's production, the film's legacy, anything. And it was a similar story with this one, although I did discover that one of the writers, David Twohy, also wrote the screenplay for films like G.I. Jane and The Fugitive, so clearly he knows what he's doing when it comes to action flicks. But Critters blurs a lot of genres together. Horror, comedy, action, sci-fi, fantasy... This could be seen as a good thing, as it's less beholden to genre-specific tropes and expectations. The franchise can do whatever it feels like, which is how we ended up with carnivorous space porcupines to begin with, I think. So, does this movie live up to the original? Well, let's, as they say, go. Well, the music's pretty exciting so far. Here we see the Fury from Metal Gear Solid 3 running from an unseen presence in a dark forest setting. Well, this is different. Jesus, what is that thing? Nasty. It turns out that this was an assignment being undertaken by Charlie from the last film, who is now a bounty hunter just like Ugg and Lee. For reference, Ugg is the guy wearing rock star Johnny Steele's handsome mug, and Lee is the bodybuilding Slenderman over here. All three bounty hunters are told that there are still some crites hanging around on planet Earth and that they'd better go back and destroy them real quick.
Pay for the hexapod kill shall be withheld until the eradication of crites on Earth is verified. There must be no doubt.
Pretty solid setup as they go. The only member of the family from last time who will be making a return is Bradley Brown, the lovable scamp. And it looks like he's had a visit from the puberty fairy in the meantime. I remember when that happened to me. Awkward times. The bus driver starts talking shiftily to our main character.
Hadn't your granny ever told you about those space porcupine things?
No, she never did.
Bunch of folks here about think they came from one of those unidentified flying UFOs or some such.
Unidentified flying UFOs?
Some say those little boogers attacked one of the farms outside of town. Maybe a friend of your granny's, huh? The Browns?
It's almost as if he knows what the boy knows, you know? You know. And I know. Yeah. Meanwhile, a pair of bozos named Wesley and Quigley are breaking into a barn and littering to boot. Boo! Soon enough, they find what they're looking for, an unexplained clutch of crite's eggs. This is interesting to me because at the end of the last film, we saw 3 eggs nestled in the barn at the Brown residence. But they seem to have multiplied in the intervening years with not a single crite sighting, or criting, if you will. So where did the extra eggs come from? We may never know. Well, Wesley doesn't care as long as he can get a few bucks for them. Oh, and look, the town is going to have an Easter egg hunt. How interesting. Yes. Well, that's one way to introduce a character, I mean get out of a truck. This is Megan, played by Leanne Curtis, whom you might recognise from 16 Candles, and she's a reporter for the family newspaper. Her mother, Sal, is very keen on talking to Brad once she hears that he's back in town.
The boy who cried, Critter.
This raises another question. What about the rest of the family? I get that they wanted to move out of Grover's Bend as soon as possible after the alien invasion, but in this film we never hear a thing about them. I wouldn't mind, but people seem to poke fun and spit bile exclusively in Brad's direction, as though he were a stupid kid who made the whole thing up. I distinctly remember a few things exploding, and then unexploding. But as we'll see, Brad is just as eager to believe the critters were a figment of his imagination. Here he is, going to greet his grandmother.
You've been eating red meat.
No, not me.
Ah, it's the worst thing you could do to that body.
Oh dear, she's one of those.
We're herbivores. We got great long intestines and the meat just rots in there.
I think you'll find we're omnivores, Nana Brown. That's what all these delightful pearly whites are for. Your teeth are more parchment yellow than pearly white. Must you? One child is so desperate for something other than fruit and veg that he's actually imbibing glue. Of course, it's not animal glue, so still no protein for this kid today. Another person who's happy to forget all about the Crites is the old town sheriff, who refuses even to talk to Sal when she drops by.
Now, why don't you run along home, Sal? Because they're about to start the bonus round.
The bounty hunters make their way to Earth, and Charlie asks what we're all thinking. Why does Lee keep his nothing face?
Lee stays a nothing face till he finds the right zone. Can't live in the wrong zone.
Hey, you wouldn't just leave me on Earth, would you?
Charlie, bounty hunter.
Yeah, Charlie, bounty hunter. Say, you guys are okay, you know that?
Oh, would you look at that? It's beautiful.
How about some buffalo chips or a moose shake?
Ah,
You get a 2-for-1 Easter
that
special.
snapped me right out of that.
No.
So, in this plot-important hamburger joint, Bradley steps up to defend the honour of former classmate Megan, and she returns the favour by driving him away from that whole situation. And I have to say, the two teenaged heroes are very likeable.
Does your dad still run the newspaper?
I'm a reporter there.
Really? Kind of like a Jimmy Olsen with breasts.
If a tad awkward, yes. Again, blame the puberty fairy. That's one thing this franchise does very well. So far, anyway. Making their lead characters very easy to get along with. You know, pleasant, decent. Even the less congenial characters can be expected to come around by the film's climax. Everybody's got to pull together to fight these things after all. Speaking of these things, Nana Brown goes to Quigley to buy up half of his imported from Europe Easter eggs, leaving the other half to unexpectedly hatch at the 22-minute mark.
Chili boy. Chili, wake up, boy.
You can't be serious. They killed the doggo again! For the love of hamburgers, why do these movies keep killing off the doggos? And the critters in this film seem somehow even more vicious and bloodthirsty than last time. I mean, bloomin' heck. Although there is often some comparison between gremlins and critters, one pretty big point of difference is the amount of gore. You're far more likely to see someone torn to bloody pieces in this series. Also, the Crites have gotten bigger, hairier, and toothier since last time, so, you know, good. Next morning is the day of the Easter egg hunt, and perhaps the film takes a step too far towards being wholesome and endearing. I'm getting Steel Magnolia flashbacks over here. So many nice elderly white women. Before long, the remaining eggs are dancing in the midday sun. Nice angle there. Whoa, a nice facial expression. This film just got amazing. I'll give it this, I never expected a partially eaten man in an Easter bunny costume to come crashing through a church window in a horror movie. In fact, I'm not even sure there are any other horror movies set around Easter. Who would have known I'd be doing another seasonal review in April? After the window smashing incident, everyone crowds inside the church to ponder over what happened. Megan, on the other hand, tells Brad that she believes that his critters were responsible for the sheriff's death, and not, as the others believe, a bizarre accident. They go and talk to the old sheriff, now that the current one's been murdered to death, but he decides to...
I'm hauling ass.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're due. Spaceship? Yes! Charlie and the bounty hunters are finally here! They're back! From outer space! Alright, enough of that! Oh. And the first thing that Charlie finds is a Playboy magazine accidentally dropped by Wesley earlier in the movie. Lee sees this and begins to change. What a disgraceful, gratuitous sequence. Oh, I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. That's the point, isn't it? Look, Lee even keeps the centerfold staple. No. Nudity is always gratuitous. Oh, you're no fun. No more nudity out of you. Well, anyway, Brad and Megan decide to figure out a plan.
Brad, you can't go in there. Let's just get help.
Oh, who are we gonna call? Critter Busters?
Oh yeah, I forgot. This film is all about referencing other films.
Who are we gonna call? Critter Busters?
Just a dog.
So's Cujo.
Like a Jimmy Olsen with breasts.
I gotta go where no man has gone before.
But I suppose the first one had a bit of that as well. Jesus! Bloody hell! This whole thing is hilarious. Look at the way they move! The lot of them are trapped in the house until Bradley uses the remote given to him by Ugg in the last movie, and it summons them instantly. That's very handy indeed. Aw, what a touching reunion. I like that Lee's uniform became skimpier the moment he became a female lady woman. Yes, this is the movie I signed up for. One of them is made bald thanks to an attack by Lee, but apparently he likes it. Good for him. And this one, Jesus Christ! Lee changes into that restaurant manager from earlier, but still keeps the skimpy uniform. Surely this can't be his final form.
Run. No! No, no, no! No!
Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, god damn it, we almost had a Freddy Krueger bounty hunter from outer space! Come on, New Line Cinema, he's your property. And just at that moment, Lee is tragically surrounded by crites and killed. This so upsets his partner Ugg that he becomes a nothing face himself.
Try and transform, Ugg. I'm not a good enough bounty hunter to do it by myself.
I came here to laugh, not to feel. The old sheriff turns up to help the town, yeah! But by this point the critters have come together in a great critter convention. It takes a while to convince the Grover's Benders to stop bitching at each other. You'd think they'd have their priorities straight by now, but apparently not. We have to do the whole shunning the outsider thing, just like in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Seems mighty queer to me. 2 years ago, when the critters first come, they come to the boy's house. Now the boy's back in town, and the damn things are here too.
Listen to me. I've been through this before. We have to fight these things.
We don't include you.
We didn't have this trouble till the boy came back.
Come on, you guys, this is serious. We have to do something about the crites.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, they hatch an unlikely plan to lure the crites into the hamburger joint and then blow it up. This quaint little town really has a lot of explosives, wouldn't you say? And napkins too. No, we're not gonna need those. The crites are really messy eaters and...
Yeah.
Did that critter just say, let's roll? I swear to God, this movie. They're momentarily distracted by live meat. But Ugg, disguising himself as one of the big uns, convinces them to go to the burger joint. And then... That was beautiful. But they're not out of the woods yet. Far from it. Brad and Megan manage to knock this thing off course, but then Charlie one-ups them by crashing his damn ship into the critter ball. Of course he lives on, and is even made the new town sheriff. Meanwhile, Ugg disappears, taking Charlie's form in honour of his bravery. But does Bradley get the girl, though? Of course he does. Idiot. You know, if this could even be classed as a horror movie, I think it's the most feel-good horror movie I've ever seen. There are definitely some laughs in there too, and those seem to be the film's strengths. As for the crites themselves, they are definitely scarier than in the first movie. More ravenous and altogether more organised. I've really warmed up to the franchise as a whole since last time, and it certainly makes a pleasant change from the grimy grey horrors I'm used to encountering in my adventures. For all those reasons, I give this film 7.5 jam sandwiches out of 10. Killjoy, do you have anything to contribute? Well, you know how I feel. Not enough horror, too much campy intergalactic ridiculousness, but who cares? Who cares? You've been more disagreeable lately. Is everything okay? Where? Well, I guess I'll wrap this up then. Thank you very much to Mystery Kid for your request, and if you've got a film that you'd like me to cover, do let me know in the comments below or on my Facebook page. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio. Have you ever thought of going to space? I've heard Saturn is nice this time of year.